How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the Philadelphia Flyers franchise mode, episode number 3, here in the second half of year number 1, the 2022-23 regular season. In the last one, we finished at the halfway point of year number 1 through 41 games. We have a record of 21, 15, and 5, giving us a pace of 42, 30, and 10. We're currently third in the Metropolitan Division. Other teams ahead of us, even behind us, have games in hand, but we're looking okay so far. The power play's been there, the scoring's been there, but the penalty kill has been struggling, as we noticed with the 81.7, which is close to the bottom of the league. Scoring-wise, however, we had a great revelation in Oskar Lindblom. We started him off in the bottom 6, but because he did so well through the first half of the season, he ended up getting promoted to the first line, and now has 30 points in 41 games, on pace for 60 points. He has never done anything close to that in the real world, nor in the simulation last season when we went through year number 1, so that's great to see so far. Sean Couturier, 28 and 36. Konechny, Farabee, 13 goals, 13 assists. Atkinson's been the one that's surprising me a little bit, only on pace for 14 goals and 50 points. 50 points, not so bad, but only 14 goals from a sniper that we need to get that first-line offense from. That's been a bit concerning, and the goaltending through the first half of the year has been okay, but our backup, Malcolm Subban, has been much better than Carter Hart. Only played in a third of the games, but a much better save percentage and 0.7 goals against average less per game. So Malcolm Subban's looking good. Carter Hart has to improve a little bit. Now we do have to try and figure out what our identity will be here in year number 1. It's so great to have so many assistant GMs interested in the series. Last episode has only been up for a few days. That's why I wanted to get this next one out already. Over 1,000 views already. So it means a lot to me to see so many of you invested in this series and to read so many comments, because that is what makes the team stronger. So I'm going to show the lines right here. I'm going to start going over some of the comments in the last one in the YouTube comments as well as in the Discord server, and from there we will get on our way into the second half of this first season. Now our first comment comes from Super Loser, who says, "Hey Data, great episode, thank you very much. Here are some of my thoughts. This team is definitely in a very interesting situation. My main worry is that the scoring is over-reliant on the power play, I believe best in the NHL right now. If the power play starts to struggle, things could go very wrong very fast. Because of this, unless the team looks like a certainty to make the playoffs, I would sell at the deadline. We still have about 20 games until then. With Lindblom's production this season, you can likely get a good haul for him. So that's been a big divide in the comments. We keep and extend Oskar Lindblom, or we look to trade him because he's playing so well on an expiring deal. Another concern of mine is that Provorov has been a negative with both Ristolainen and Ellis, while they have been positive without him. Maybe switch him and Sanheim to see if he gets going on the second pair. I know he's had a solid offensive production, but a negative 13 is a negative 13. Good luck and go Flyers." Thank you very much. So Ivan Provorov, 19 points, on pace for 38. He's a negative 13, he's playing at 26.5 minutes a night. So he's definitely logging a lot of minutes. He was originally playing with Ryan Ellis, who had a bad plus-minus, similar to Provorov's. Since I put Ellis with Sanheim for like less than 10 games, I think only like 2 assists, I think. He now has a goal and an assist and is a negative 1. So Ellis and Sanheim have been a great pair. Ristolainen as well, he was, I think he's been pretty consistent. He was around that 0. His plus-minus went down a little bit, but this is how the pair has been. Now, the suggestion is, do we try playing Provorov with Sanheim now? It would be 0-0 for the chemistry. Or perhaps even swap Provorov to the second pair. It gives him and Ellis to get a +5. That's interesting, because Sanheim and Ristolainen a bit over their heads, but Provorov and Ellis would be playing like 92 overalls on that second pair. So you know what? I think I'm going to at least give it an experiment. It's not something I'm going to lock in just yet, but at least for the next few games after this halfway point, I'd like to see Provorov and Ellis with the +5 in the second pair. Still keep the special teams the same for Provorov in terms of his ice time, but let's try him on the second pair with the chemistry boost. Vinny says, "I wouldn't necessarily try to be a Stanley Cup contender this season. I just think that being a seller at the deadline and putting people on the block with bad contracts, such as Kevin Hayes, would be the better option, and it also follows that realism path. Great video, looking forward to the next one." So I do agree that if things aren't going well by the deadline, we can start putting some people on the block. But at the same time, yes, we're following the realism timeline, but now, as soon as we picked it up from June of 2022, anything can happen in terms of if the team is trending towards a cup in year 1, we're going to go for that cup. Obviously, I don't think that's the most likely thing from what we've seen from this team so far, and nor do I think that they're going to win a cup next year in the real world. But if the players perform under GM Data and company, so be it. Getting back to the thoughts on Oskar Lindblom, Pat says that he would offer the extension. He's looking for about just over $4 million for 6 years as our current leader in points. So that would be a steal for a solid piece. Pat says that he would trade Cam Atkinson, who isn't performing despite all the ice time in the world and could sharply decline now at his age. He would let Brandon Sutter play, and if the team makes the playoffs, great. If not, the youth will have had more opportunity. So Cam Atkinson, we had him to start the year. He had a +3 on the first line. We've changed things up since then. He's now at a +1 on that first line. As I mentioned previously, only on pace for 14 goals. Last year in the simulation, he scored 22 and had 60 points. Yeah, in the real world, it's different than the simulation world, but as a sniper with 4-star shooting and a solid number 1 centerman, I would have expected a little bit more from him. He's playing almost 20 minutes a night. He has the power play time. He's, first unit right wing on his offside. He's getting a lot of chances. 4-man power play. He's out there on the first unit as well. So to only have 7 and be on pace for 14 at the age of 33 with 3 more years left on his contract, he's definitely a candidate for a potential trade, especially with the fact that Oskar Lindblom's leading the team in points, wants an extension for like $1.5 million less than Atkinson's making, and eventually Brink and or Tippett is going to have to make the top 9, and we got to free up some space. So the more I think about it, if the trend continues, Cam Atkinson is actually the one who is more likely on his way out than Oskar Lindblom. There were also a couple of comments that included some trade targets, as we saw in the trade blocks last episode. Landon says, great video as always. I'd say find a way to trade for Matt Zuccarello to bring some scoring and some more veteran presence in the locker room. I'd also send out contracts to Lindblom and York. Best of luck on the rest of the season. Thank you very much, Landon. And another suggestion from Renner says, another great episode. This is by far the most realistic series on YouTube. So thank you very much for saying that. We pride ourselves on that around here. So thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. If we are going for the playoffs, 2 suggestions. So the playoff suggestion is go for Ryan Hartman, who could be a great penalty killer and 4th liner. If Washington's willing to give up Lars Eller, then I would go after him, as he would be even better on the PK and can take faceoffs. On the flip side of that, if we're starting the rebuild, I would ship out Cam Atkinson, and as he is not having the best season and could fall off. I would consider trading Atkinson for Samorukov and a pick, a prospect that we could look at in a moment. You could also trade Lindblom as he is having a great season, and you could probably get a decent pick. Now, I did look into trades for everybody. Oskar Lindblom, I think he fetches something like a 2nd and a 5th right now, so not a huge return. And again, for that price, for the story, I think Lindblom's more of a candidate to stay. Over on the Discord server, a couple of basic suggestions from Addy, who says, 1, more ice time for Malcolm Subban, as we saw before. His numbers are looking great. 2, Damon Severson is interesting. Maybe not right now, but could think about it in the future. And 3, Ville Heinola on Winnipeg as a prospect is very intriguing. In a few of his own franchise modes, he's been a very reliable defenseman. And besides, I think right now, we're not really going for the cup, so a prospect might be more worth it. I see the rationale behind that. Thank you, Addy. Finishing it off with the Gritisher. Got a chance to go over the episode. Love that Lindblom is having a resurgence. I could only hope that he could regain his pre-cancer form in real life. Little tidbit, he just had his 2-year anniversary of being cancer-free in the real world, so that is such a great story. That's another reason why we're so happy to have him in this franchise mode as well. I would definitely reward his performance with that new contract, especially if he only wants 6 years at $4.025 per year. Offer him and the rest of the kids extensions if they are reasonable. 2 trade options that jumped out to me while going through the blocks were Ryan Hartman in Minnesota and Riley Smith in San Jose. Both had decent contracts, so if you could do some kind of package including Atkinson with his declining overall and large contract for another goal scorer, that'd be fantastic. Even though Flyers had Hartman and let him go, typical Flyera. Although Hartman is being carried by Kaprizov, maybe Lindblom and Couturier can do the same. Either way, both are on much more reasonable contracts. Also, take a look at the PK lines and see if you can make any improvements. The power play is doing phenomenal, but the penalty kill is certainly lacking. And no, Flyera isn't a typo, as you can see in this definition right here. So thank you very much to the Gritisher. So it's very interesting to think about those names, namely we saw Zuccarello, Hartman, Smith. I will send out the pro scouts on them so we can learn a little bit more. But my rationale, I think, still holds from earlier, where moving out Cam Cam Atkinson to make room for Brink or Tippett would be the ultimate move. So unless these guys are on expiring deals, I'm not sure if I could really find the rationale to swing it. Matt Zuccarello, the Wild are a winning team as well, so it's always a bit odd to see these guys on their blocks. But Ryan Hartman has a decent amount of value as well. 1.54, he has 2 more years on his deal, so he could be a bottom 6 guy for us. Doesn't necessarily have to be taking a spot in the top 6. We need to scout him a little bit more. No scouts in the region, so I will take care of that off screen in a moment. And Matt Zuccarello, he is also 2 years at 5.6. So Zuccarello is more of a guy that I don't think I could see happening, despite him being the better offensive player. I think I could see Hartman happening more, but then you see that he has a lot of trade value to go along with him. So I'm going to pin him to the watch list, send out the scouts on him, and we can think about it a bit more once we get a little bit deeper into the season. Another name that we saw was Riley Smith over on the San Jose Sharks. 83 overall, 31 years of age. He's only signed for 1 more year, so that's very interesting. And he fits the top 6 power play and penalty kill as a sniper. I could see him as a Cam Atkinson replacement, absolutely. The Sharks are a winning team right now, but they have him on the block nonetheless. Maybe if they think that they're going to lose Riley Smith. I will also say that if you go to the trade finder for Cam Atkinson, there was an interesting offer that popped up to me when I did a little bit of pre-scouting. There is one team here, the Penguins, who are offering Samuel Poulin and a 3rd round pick. As well as some other prospects as well, but really lower end. So Samuel Poulin, he is a medium top 6 forward. I believe he's a power forward. Am I correct in saying that? 70-some overall. 74 overall power forward at 21 years of age. What's he doing right now in the AHL? 13 goals and 19 points in 38 games with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. So not bad at all. It's 74 at 21 isn't horrible either. Not a horrible trade. The biggest problem is that we'd be trading him to a divisional rival, probably, and our biggest rival in the entire league, actually. So I was really tempted to do this Poulin trade, but the more I think about it in terms of trading him to the Penguins, I think, but then Riley Smith is the better guy, but are we really pushing right now in this season for a playoff berth and for a deep run? Riley Smith is the guy if that's the case, but we still have to figure out our identity. So that's what we got to do now at the beginning of this episode. A similar 10, 15, 20 games towards the deadline, and then we'll have a better idea with all these comments being kept in mind. There's also the defenseman on the Oilers that we mentioned previously, Samorukov. 77 overall, though, with 23 years of age, with medium top 4 deep potential. The problem is, a 4.5-star physical. Good for him. He's not, 6'2", but he's not 6'6" or anything. The problem is that in NHL 22, to be 77 at 23 years of age, growth is very unlikely. This is a guy who's going to stay in your minor league system for likely the entirety of his career. So, very good suggestion in the real world, I would think. A former 3rd round pick and all that. I think he has some promise to make the league. But in EA land over here, 77-23, it's almost the kiss of death. So I don't think we're going to bother trying for him. So the pro scouts here are going to do some work in the Central Division. They're going to go scout on the Minnesota Wild. The amateur scouts have already been sent out on their next assignments. Now we're going to get to the penalty kill tweaks. On the penalty kill, it's already giving us good chemistry boosts. Plus, it's the ice time distribution that I like to see. Maybe we'll swap a defenseman, but what I did was I swapped Sanheim and Ellis, I swapped Farabee and Lindblom. Sometimes that's all it takes, really. So we'll keep track of that if it improves over the next 10 games or so. If not, I'm going to probably take out one of the defensemen, and I'll try putting in Cam York. But I think that's pretty much all that we touch for the lineup here. I'm also going to slap Cam Atkinson and Kevin Hayes on the trade block. I know that Kevin Hayes is a big fan favorite. I'm not really looking to trade him necessarily, but it's a big contract. He hasn't been playing well. I think it would make realistic sense to at least say we're exploring options. So Hayes and Atkinson will both go on the block. And the last order of business will be to offer Oscar Lindblom his extension. I think it's a very reasonable contract. 5 years, 4, 5, and 7. He's wanting in the 5s. But for some reason, at 6 years, he only wants 4.725. I guess he likes that stability to the age of 32. So 4.725, 85% of that is 4.025. And we'll go ahead and offer it and see what he has to say. We have over $18 million of extension, so I think this would be a steal. There are some other extension possibilities that are available, like Travis Sanheim. 5 years. I could do a 5-year deal for him right now. He's making 4.675 right now. He wants 4.725, so it's the exact same thing. It'll be 5 years instead of 6 to Lindblom, but at 4.025. I think that's a pretty reasonable deal for an 83 overall. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We can always trade him, but I'd rather get this done now rather than he has a good rest of the season on the first pair, and now he's wanting $5 million for 5 years. 4.025, that's what a defenseman pretty much goes for in EA land and pretty much in the real world as well. So 5 years, just over $20 million. Let's see what he has to say about that. Other deals that are available to us, like Cam York. I'm not as, I don't know if the word is desperate or like as inclined to make it happen ASAP since that they're RFAs, especially that 1 year is 1.8 and 2 years plus is in the 4 millions. I want to see more from Cam York before I decide to give him a big deal or if we just end up doing a 1-year bridge type of thing. Same for Ronnie. Yeah, kind of the same thing for Ronnie. I don't think I'm in any rush. That's the word I'm looking for. Not in any rush. Ratcliffe, I could do 2 years of RFA. Yeah, that's a pretty cheap deal. Keeps him as an RFA status. I'm going to offer him the 2 years at 0.956. I mean 0.975 for 2 years for Ratcliffe. We'll see what he says. A little $25,000 boost. Get yourself a nice little car. And that's just about it. We'll take care of the rest of this, the extensions and re-signs, whatever, later on in the season and in the off-season. But that's what we're going to do to get this episode started. Extensions are sent out. Lines have been changed up a little bit. Let's get into the second half of the year, starting with game number 42 at Climate Pledge Arena. No better matchup against our old franchise, the Seattle Kraken. Any signings? There we go. Easy decision. Travis Sanheim is back on board, and so is Oscar Lindblom. And so is Isaac Ratcliffe. Great. Great news. Everyone's happy on this road trip. Let's get it at the Climate Pledge Arena. They're 19, 17, and 4, 3, 5, and 2 in their last 10. Let's have a huge game here to start off this second half. First period, 1-1 game. Marcus Foligno opens it up, and Sean Couturier ties the game. Second period, now 4-2 Flyers. Farabee and Lindblom on the power play. Schwartz brings the Kraken back within 1, but then Allison on that fourth line restores the 2-goal lead. 4-2, shots 27-18 after 40 minutes. A nice 2-goal lead. Carter Hart looking pretty solid out there, although we will be giving more ice time to Malcolm Subban. I'm glad that he's looking okay so far. Power play goal, though, for Jordan Eberle. 3 goals on 23 shots. Okay. We're up by 1 with under 7 to go. Shots 33-29. Seattle coming back in that regard. Only a 1-goal cushion as time is ticking down here, and we hang on for the 4-3 victory. Shots end 36-31 in our favor, and we win at 4-3 the final. Oscar Lindblom, first star of the night with a goal and 2 assists with that brand new contract. There we go. 33 points on the year for him now. Love to see that. Let's keep it rolling here against our biggest rival, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10. Very similar record to ours, and they are just, 2 points behind us in the standings. So this game has huge implications. At PPG Paints Arena, I'm tempted to put Subban in. I think I will. The 4-3 win was nice, and it wasn't like he had a bad performance. It was over 30 shots, so it was a plus 900 save percentage. But I got to give Subban some more ice time after he's been playing so well. So let's get... he's already in there. Fantastic. So Subban's going to start, and we'll see what we can do here in Pittsburgh. The first game with those new defensive pairs and the penalty kill and all that, we didn't allow any power play goals, so that's a plus. And you know what? It was a nice 4-3 win. Let's see if we can keep the momentum rolling here against the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Battle of Pennsylvania. First period, 2-1 Penguins. Sean Couturier opens up the scoring early, 42 seconds in. Then Gensel and McGinn score twice in the first. Second period now, 4-1. Phillips and Bluger, shots 24-20. Yet we're down by 3. Yikes, that hurts. 5-1, Alex Nylander. Come on, Malcolm! We put our trust in you. Call it a night. 6-1 the final. Dumoulin adds to it. Great. Nice. And a huge game where we needed him to come through. He did so well. We trusted him to get us the dub. And not all on him, but 6 goals. Come on. Back to Carter Hart. Defense, I should have checked the plus minuses as well. We could check them right now. Let's get Carter back in there. Check them now. Sanheim's a -3. Risto's now a -1. He was a 0. Provorov was -13. That was a -14. And Ellis was, what, a -1? That was -3. Yeah, the experiment is going to have a short life here. Atkinson didn't score in either of those games, but he got some assists, I suppose, there. 26 points on the year for him now. All right, let's get to the calendar simulation and get 10 or so games from the halfway point. We'll go see the San Jose Sharks. Let's go see Riley Smith and the San Jose Sharks at home. Let's see that. We'll simulate 3 more games here with the Bruins, Blue Jackets, and Blackhawks coming up. We're 22, 16, and 5, currently in a wild card spot. Home game here against the Bruins. We dropped that one 4-3. On the road against the Blue Jackets now, who are 16, 18, and 9. Got to get this one. 3-1 win, then a 5-4 win against the Hawks. Very nice. Not going to make that trade with the Leafs. We're 24, 17, and 5, taking on the 25, 14, and 6 San Jose Sharks here at Wells Fargo Center. First period against the Sharks, 1-1 game. Merkley opens up the scoring, then Sean Couturier ties it back up. Second period now, 2-1. Cam Atkinson with a rare goal. There we go. Shots 23-17. He's putting on a show for the team that he might get traded to. So they're also scouting Atkinson. He scores a big goal there against them. 2-1 game. We're being outshot 25-19 at the moment. Almost at the halfway point in this third and final period. Eklund ties it up at 2 around that halfway point. We have 10 minutes to decide this game. Who has the game on their stick and who's going to be the hero? Shots 30-27 for San Jose with under 2 minutes to go. Final 30 seconds. We're headed to overtime. Shots 30-28 in favor of the Sharks. Let's see some OT action. Overtime here at Wells Fargo Center. We got Eklund versus Couturier at the draw, I believe. And it's won back by Couturier. Eklund gets held on the boards, and now here's an opportunity for Sean Couturier, who's off to the races, but has to come inside. He does! With, unfortunately, a low shot that is easily stopped by Kakinen, who's already in butterfly. Pickpocket there. Here's Travis Konechny. He's all alone! Oh! Forehand, backhand, kick save from the pad of Capo Kakinen. Big push here from the Flyers, full court press. Timo Meier has a chance now coming back the other way. Stops up, that's Bordelot who had a chance there. Stopped by Hart. Bordelot again, big save by a sprawling Hart. And Sean Couturier is back to the races once more. But now he stops up with a little less energy. He's going to dump that in. Into the corner now, Carlson. Board pinned. Eklund trying to fight for it. He's getting away from the play. Wide open. Carlson is stopped by a sprawling Hart with the pad. Frost breaks up a great play in front of the net. Gets it to Konechny. Across to Provorov. Poked away from Meier. Final 15 seconds now. Riley Smith being scouted to Blackwell. Gets hit off the puck. Final 10 seconds. Erik Karlsson's been out there for a very long time. Blackwell can't get the shot off. Riley Smith at the top of the circle gets board pinned. Karlsson comes in, Hayes comes in, and that will end the overtime period. Still tied after 65 minutes. We are headed to the shootout. Shots 36-31 for the Sharks. Now let's see what we can do now in the skills competition. Here comes Ryan Merkley coming in slow, looking for something. Tries to make Hart bite, does not, and the shot is stopped. Joel Farabee now, one of the team leaders in goals. Farabee makes, oh, looks silly, and that's the shootout winner for Joel Farabee. Oh, wow. Kakinen bit on that one. Forehand, backhand, back to the forehand with a wide open net. And the Flyers win this one in overtime. Joel Farabee. Forehand, backhand, oof, wide open blocker side, and he takes it. So with that victory, we are now on a 3-game winning streak, 6 games after the halfway point, 4-2 since game 41. Let's keep on simulating. I think we're still good to keep going. Let's finish off the month. Let's go after the, I guess that's like the Olympic or the All-Star break or something. Let's pick things up in the month of February against the Hurricanes. These last 4 games will be the last opportunity for anyone to really make an impact before we start to have to make these decisions. Wisdom injured down in the AHL. Down in the AHL, we're going to have Jackson and Noah Cates on a line together. Why is this important? Well, Austin left a comment saying, in the AHL, we have Jackson and Noah Cates. They are cousins in real life and won 2 straight NCAA championships at Minnesota Duluth. So I think it would be cool if you could keep them signed throughout the series, put them on the same line, and it would be a good story, and maybe even one day call them both up for time in the NHL. So that's great. Who knows if they develop, not the worst overalls either. 75-23, 76-25. Could be depth guys some days. Not, the greatest numbers, but it is a good story. So thank you for letting us know about that, Austin. The Wild currently offering us Ryan Hartman and a 4th for a 2nd and a 3rd. It's a bit costly, I do have to say. I'm going to decline at the moment, but we're definitely still keeping that in mind. Not sure why they're not telling us the game against the Devils. We'll have to stop. 2-1 win. So then a 2-1 win, 5-3 win against the Predators, and a 4-1 win against the Vancouver Canucks. Now we're on a 6-game winning streak. Great stuff. Finishing off with the Canadians at home, 4-2 win. 7 wins in a row, the longest we've had under our leadership here on the Flyers. Wonderful things to see. We're 29, 17, and 5, which is good enough for second in the Metropolitan right now. 2 games in hand. The Rangers have 2 games in hand over us and are 5 points ahead. We have 1 game over the Capitals, and they're 2 points behind, but the Hurricanes are in a wild card spot and are 3 points behind us. So this will be a very good matchup against the Hurricanes. That'll be in game number 52, 10 games after the halfway point. But I do want to see how things have been going for the special teams. Have we improved from the, I believe, 81.2% on the penalty kill? Let's see, the power play. We're scoring more. We're allowing about the same. We're scoring more. The power play is, I think, still around the same, if not higher. I think it was at 25, right? It's 26.4. Penalty kill up 1%. All right, you know, over just 9 or 10, just 9 games, I will take a 1% improvement over 9 games. Not bad at all. Sean Couturier, 42 points. He is now the team leader through 46 games. Oscar Lindblom, 42 and 51. Very nice. Cam Atkinson, I gotta say, he's turning things around right now. He's now on pace for a 56-point season. That would not be horrible. However, I do want to give more ice time to Owen Tippett. So that comes back to the main point. If we were to trade Atkinson, would it be for a roster player or for more of a prospect and a pick type of thing? That's what we have to still try and see. Not doing too much of a deep dive into the numbers here right now. Goaltending, Malcolm Subban coming back down to earth with that 6-1 game pretty much. Carter Hart getting a bit, he was at 2.7 some, I was at 2.61 goals against average, so that's all right. Keep on simulating. We're 8-2-0 in our last 10 on a 7-game winning streak here at home against the 30-21-0 Carolina Hurricanes, who are 5-5-0 in their last 10. Let's see what we can do here to start off February. First period, 2-0 Flyers, Travis Sanheim and Kevin Hayes. Very nice, 12-8, the shots in our favor. Second period now, no scoring. Shots now 24-16. We're pulling away, but still only a 2-goal lead. The worst lead in hockey, they say, here in the third and final period. Power play Carolina, we kill it off. Big penalty kill right there, great to see. Halfway through the third, we're now on the power play of our own, killed off by the Hurricanes. Shots 30-22 as Ethan Bear, former Seattle Kraken legend, brings the Hurricanes within 1. 3 minutes to go, we're still up by 1. Final minute of play, and we hang on for the victory. Shots end 34-24. 23 saves on 24 shots gets Carter Hart first star honors. Ransom made 32 saves, and Kevin Hayes the game-winning goal back in the first period. Make that 8 wins in a row for the Philadelphia Flyers. Let's keep on going as long as the win streak is going, and win number 30 on the year as well. Let's just keep on doing the slow simulations as long as they keep coming. Connor Sheary on waivers, 1 year left at $1.5 million, 79 overall, 2-way forward, fits the second line. Not a horrible pickup here. Only 7 points in 27 games, 5'8", 3-star defense. I don't think he really fits our fourth line identity. If we needed a fourth liner, I don't think he'd really fit that fourth line. So it would be a good pickup in theory, but I don't think it's a good fit, so we're going to pass on that. Taking only 28, 16, and 7 Washington Capitals now to try and make it 9 wins in a row. Let's see it. First period action, 2-1 Caps. Bobby Brink opens up the scoring, but then Wilson and Ovi put the Capitals ahead. Second period now, 3-2. Farabee ties it up short-handed, but then a power play goal from Alex Ovechkin. You can't get away from those. 3-2 Capitals, shots 26-20 for Washington. We're only down by 1 here in the third period. Goals from Brink and Farabee. Let's see some more top 6 action. Let's go, boys. Halfway through the third now, power play Washington. Shut him down. Good kill right there. We're being outshot 38-25, and Ristolainen ties it up at 3. Rasmus Ristolainen, 3-3 game. Final minute to go now. We're headed to overtime. Shots are 40-31 for the Caps, but Rasmus has kept us alive in overtime now. Can we make it 9 in a row? Final minute. We're headed to a shootout. Shots 43-35 after 65 minutes. And in the shootout, the Capitals win it with a lone goal from John Carlson. At least there's no regulation losses. Big late goal from Ristolainen. 8-0-1 in our last 10 now. Ovi with 2 goals. Farabee and Ristolainen both with a goal and an assist apiece. Rasmus. Great night from Ristolainen here in EA land. Let's go. We're going to be up against the Ducks now. We'll go back to the calendar simulation. I want to check out the defenseman for a moment. Seems as though the +5 is working, I think. Sandheim at +6 now, and Ristolainen at +8. Provorov was -14 last time we checked. Now -11, so +3 in that time. Ellis was, what, a -3? Now he's a -4. Very odd, despite the +5. I don't understand it. Ronnie has 7 points, -3, and York has 11 points, +4. Carter Hart now up to an 85 overall. Numbers are getting much better. Very, very nice to see that. I don't think we'll touch anything else. After an 8-game winning streak and 8-0-1 in our last 10, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So back to the calendar sim now. Let's keep on getting closer to the deadline. We'll go to the other team that we were kind of scouting, the Minnesota Wild, who are now closer to 500. That's in a couple of weeks' time. So we still have 6 games until then. Two-thirds in Lomberg. No, lateral move, not necessary. As we'll have a little bit of a Western Conference swing. Bruised arm. Okay, Atkinson, a bruised arm is going to keep him out for a couple of weeks, it seems like. So this is going to be the chance to see how well do we do when Atkinson is not here. So Farabee, 15 goals, 16 assists, or Konechny. Probably Konechny is the guy, even though either gives us a 0, correct? Yeah, so let's try Konechny on the first line. We're going to go Farabee, left wing. Frost, by the way, up to an 82 overall. Tippett will go second line. Third line, we'll put, I think we'll go Lawton, because then Sutter can come in as center. So Lawton will go wing, Brink goes on the right, and then Sutter comes in at center. All right, all that's taken care of now with Atkinson out of the lineup. We'll see how we roll with it like that. A nice little experiment coming up now in the calendar simulation. We beat the Ducks 4-1, I believe. I guess Atkinson would have been in the lineup for at least part of that game. So we're 9-0-1 in our last 10 from that point. Big win against the Jets and then the Islanders. So that's 9-0-1, 10, 11-0-1 in our last 12. 12-0-1 in our last 13 as we beat the Coyotes 2-1. Third and Donskoy. Keep it rolling. Just keep this team rolling. Oh my goodness. 4-3 shutout win against the Predators. Atkinson back to full health. I don't know if I want to bring him back at this point. Sheesh. So when I made these changes, Farabee had 15 goals, 16 assists. Konechny had 11 goals, 25 assists. So Konechny, 11-25. Now, so he had 2 goals and 1 assist. Farabee had 15 and 16. Now he has 19 goals and 20 assists. So he had 5 goals and 4 assists since playing with Morgan Frost and Owen Tippett. I didn't check Owen Tippett's numbers. I think he had 17 goals. So now he has 19. My goodness. Bobby Brink, 3-21 with Hayes. Lawton, 10 goals, 10 assists. Defense plus minus is how we looking. +5, +5, -1. Look at that. Provorov now at a -1. He was negative like 11 last time we checked, right? And +3 for Ryan Ellis. Let's keep it going, boys. Carter Hart, 2.53. Malcolm Subban's numbers coming back. Let's go. Don't stop this train. Oh, man, it almost hurts to bring back Atkinson. What's he up to? 12 goals, 23 assists? On pace for like 53, 54 points. Man, that's a hard decision. We'll bring him back until the deadline at the very least, but at least we know how things look when he's out. We can still do well with him not in the lineup. Morgan Frost, by the way, he's a third-line scorer playing second-line center. He has 29 points on the year, 5 goals, 24 assists, great playmaker. It's been great to see him do so well. Let's get Atkinson back in the lineup, then we'll get back to the simulation. And by the way, Brandon Sutter, no points still, but a solid fourth-line presence. All right, all taken care of. Atkinson back in the lineup. He's going to have to prove himself, though, if he wants to stick here, because we've been playing very well here in Philadelphia. We are on top of the Metropolitan Division right now. 3-2 loss there against the Jets. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-game winning streak. And we were 13-0-1 in our last 14 games. 35, 18, and 6 is now our record. 1, 2, 3, 4 games until the trade deadline. So Atkinson, you've got to look good in these games, buddy, because trading him for a prospect and a pick wouldn't be bad right now to keep our team strong while also getting some reinforcements for later on before Atkinson dips a little bit and we have no room, no money and stuff like that. It wouldn't be a bad time to let him go right now when we're doing well without him. But are we going to do even better with him? That's what we'll have to find out here. First period, 1-1 game. Ronnie opens it up. Then Kevin Fiala comes right back, tie game. Second period now, 2-2, Sean Couturier, but then Sam Gagner comes back. just matching each other 1-for-1 right now. Power play Minnesota. We kill that off. Big kill. Being outshot by over 10 shots. But a big goal from Owen Tippett on the power play makes it 3-2 Philly. Make it 4-2 Philly as Owen Tippett says, give me those top 6 minutes. Power play Philly killed off by Minnesota. Shot still 36-29 mini. We're up by 2 with 2 minutes to go. Thanks to two huge goals from Owen Tippett, giving us the win. 40-30 were the shots in the end. Carter Hart, I believe, yes, makes 38 saves. Look at this man. And 2 goals from Owen Tippett. Huge performance. He wants the top 6. 4-2 victory. Make it 14-1-1 in our last 16 games. Wow, wow, wow. Let's go see Toronto. We have the identical record almost. We have just 3 overtime losses more. They're 36-18-3. We'll go see them in a week's time. 29-30-2 are the Calgary Flames. Injury down in the AHL we'll take care of. That's all done. Big 1-0 shutout victory. Not many of our wins have come by shutout. We shut out the Flames 1-0, and the wins just keep on coming in Philadelphia. We're 37-18-6. The Maple Leafs are 37-19-3. Big matchup here. Potential Eastern Conference deciding, victory here in Toronto. A huge 2 points on the line here as we want to keep the good times rolling. First period, 1-1 game. Ryan Ellis opens up the scoring with a rare goal. Then Kasha ties it up. 1-1. Shots 11-4 in our favor. Second period, yikes. 3-1. Kasha's second of the night. Then Mitch Marner makes it a 2-goal lead. Shots 20-17 in our favor. We're being outscored by 2 as the score is 3-1 Toronto, despite the shots being in our favor just slightly. Halfway through the third, no action as this 2-goal lead may be enough for the Maple Leafs to call it a victory in a big, potentially Eastern Conference deciding matchup. Final minute, and that'll be all she wrote. Empty netter for Kasha to get the hat trick. 4-1 the final, despite the shots being tied at 26 at the end of this one. Kasha, Tavares with 3 assists. Marachik, the third star, playing a solid game between the pipes. So that's a rare regulation loss here in this little streak here. We had a regulation loss by 1 goal to the Jets as well. So the numbers have still been great in the last month and a half. 1 more game now until the trade deadline. If we play this game, I believe we actually have to go into the deadline. I'm not quite... I think we could play it actually, yeah. As long as it's not simming to the next day. So we could play it here against the Blue Jackets. They are 24-25-11, 4-4-2 in their last 10. Let's do it. Last chance. Cam Atkinson against his old team to show us something before we make our final decision. First period, no scoring. Shots 10-6 in Philly's favor. Second period, 2-0 Jackets. Sillinger and Laine scoring on Malcolm Subban. 2-0 Blue Jackets. Third period, Cole Sillinger's second of the night. 3 goals on 20 shots past Malcolm Subban. Come on, Malcolm! And we gotta get some scoring as well to help this guy out. Power play Columbus. 3, okay, hold on. Cam Atkinson makes it 3-1 with a goal against his old team. He heard the call, and we're only down by 2 now, but time continues to tick away. From 10:51 now until 2:39, nothing coming. No, and Braun adds another one. 4-1, Blue Jackets win this one. Back-to-back losses for the first time in a very long time. Korpisalo getting the victory there for the Blue Jackets. As we drop it 4-1, back-to-back L's, unfortunately. Oh boy, let's take a moment to check things out now. 37-20-6 is our record. At the halfway point, we were on pace for 42 wins. We're just 5 wins away from getting that with 20 games left to go in the season. We're the second best team in the entire NHL. The top 6 teams are all from the Eastern Conference. We're scoring about the same we've always been scoring. We're letting in a little bit less. Power play's gone down a little bit to 24%, but still the best in the NHL. And power play continues to rise a little bit from up 0.7% since the last time we saw it, I believe. 82.8, still closer to the bottom than the top, but better to be out of the 80 and 81 range. So could always improve a little bit, but it might just come down to the players that we have on this team. Now, looking at the points, Sean Couturier, 50 points in 58 games. Oscar Lindblom, 46. Farabee, 39. Really starts to drop off a little bit, but a lot of guys in this 30 range. Konechny, 39, and negative 20. That second line needs to be fixed, I think. Tippett, 21 goals and 37 points. Atkinson, 37 and 58. On pace for 52 points. He was on pace for 56 at one point. Now he's on pace for 52. He's still up there. 13 goals as well, which is better than the 14 he was on pace for at the halfway point of the season. Tough call. Maybe he's just a guy we trade at the draft. We say, let's let this season be, but we understand that we have to trade him because Tippett has to be a top 6 guy next year at the very least, I think. So maybe we just let it be for this season, and and we'll see what comes at the draft, especially when there's potentially prospects we want to trade up for. Provorov 37, Hayes has 30, Frost also 30, Brink 25, Ellis, Lawton, Ratcliffe. The plus minus as well. Ellis had a 0 and Provorov had a -3. So gone down a little bit, but still in that good range. Sandheimer, Salainen, Allison, York, Ronnie, Sutter, no points in 11 games. Carter, Hart, 30, 15, and 5. 2 shutouts, 917 save percentage, 2.48 goals against average. Looking very, very nice. Subban has 1 shutout of his own, 911 save percentage, and 2.63 goals against. So I'm going to take another look at the blocks myself just to see what's interesting. I'm going to check in the trade finder as well. But unless something really jumps out at me, I think we might just roll as is into the playoffs because it's been like unprecedented that like 15 wins out of 18 games or whatever. It's really hard to justify a change after a run like that. All right, so hear me out. Here is what I'm thinking right now. The San Jose Sharks still have Riley Smith on the block. He has like 40 points in 60 games. He's doing very well. But the San Jose Sharks are a winning team fighting for a playoff spot. I'm not sure why they really have these guys on the block. They want to sell their whole team when they're pushing for the playoffs. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes we need to override what the AI GMs are telling us. Meanwhile, over on the Coyotes, they're 23, 33, and 8. Losing team, and they are selling. On the trade block right now, they have big names that include, sorting by overall, John Klingberg, Paul Stastny, Phil Kessel, Anton Strawman, and other 80-plus overall players, and some other serviceable names down the list here. Paul Stastny, 1 year left at 2.91, 83 overall centerman, who has 36 points in 64 games. He has 3.5-star defense, including 85 faceoffs, solid defensive two-way playmaker, 88 passing, 4-star senses, puck skills, shooting. He fits all forward lines, and as I already mentioned, is on an expiring contract. Phil Kessel now, same thing, expiring deal. He's an 82 overall. He's 35. 14 goals, 21 assists. Not as good as Atkinson, 35 points in 64 games, but a depth guy with playoff experience. A sniper with 4-star shooting, 4-star puck skills, senses, all that stuff. Fits the top 6 forwards, the power play, and the penalty kill on an expiring deal. So instead of swapping out Atkinson for Stastny and Kessel, whereas Stastny would be fighting, kind of bumping out Scott Lawton, then where does Kevin Hayes go? And then if Lawton goes to the wing, then Kessel's bumped out, then okay, Kessel comes in, where's Bobby Brink go? The Coyotes are also interested in Kevin Hayes. They want people who are going to get them to the cap floor and are signed long-term and will be solid pieces for them to build with guys like Shane Wright and Lekaramaki and other good prospects in their system. I'll give you Kevin Hayes. That alleviates the fight with Paul Stastny. Opens up a spot for a guy like Matthew Savoie. Kessel can be the winger, depth, / even a full-timer. Maybe he has to fight for his spot. The Coyotes have an abundance of defense. I'll take this prospect, Enright. He is 76 overall, 20 years of age with medium top 6 D potential. Two-way D with 96 shot blocking, 96 stick checking, and 5-star physical, despite only being 6'1". Nothing crazy. A 5th-round pick in 2022. Nothing wild. Maybe we can even get a pick out of it as well. I wasn't initially planning on trading Atkinson or definitely even not Hayes, I don't think. Atkinson, though, he's a victim of circumstance, while Kevin Hayes, his 30 points in 63 games only puts him on pace for 39 points. A guy that I wanted to be our second-line center, an 84 overall. He scored 57 points in the simulation last year to only be on pace for 39 right now. I know he's on the third line, but he's getting power plays, getting penalty kill. I know, he's playing 15-25. But last year was only another minute of ice time. He was scoring 57 points. This year's only on pace for 39. Plus, that contract can continue to hurt as time goes on. I don't know. And even if Matthew Savoie isn't ready next season, Morgan Frost has alleviated some of that pressure, saying we have to keep Hayes for that second-line role. That's what I thought in episode number 0. As we can't trade Hayes yet, we need someone to play second-line center. Morgan Frost has filled in that regard. So we give the Coyotes what they want. They dump a couple of expiring contracts and a prospect they don't need right now for a couple guys who have tenure and are going to get them to the salary cap floor and will be guiding their young prospects. I think this is a win-win trade when I didn't think that we were going to be making these kinds of moves. I thought that keeping Hayes would be a realistic thing for this franchise, but if Hayes goes anywhere, I think Arizona is probably a good fit with them needing to hit the salary cap floor and all that, those other factors. So for every reason that I just outlined, despite how well we've played, I think we can get a little bit better / set ourselves up to be stronger in the longer term. So if this doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I'm at least going to try it. Atkinson and Hayes for Stastny, Kessel, Enright, and 2 4th-round picks this year. What do you say, Arizona? Wow. Trade accepted. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success here in Arizona, so we are accepting your trade offer. They had an abundance of 4th-round picks as well. They traded from a position of strength, and we get what we want right now. We're going on a push for the playoffs out of nowhere. We trade the guys that aren't going to be here longer term. We get value for them right now. I understand those of you who might be saying that you don't like this deal. Hayes is a big guy for Philadelphia. But that cap hit was going to hurt very soon. It wasn't hurting us right now, but it's going to hurt very soon. And as we saw when Atkinson was injured, we can play well without him. Hayes was in a reduced role. I think that he can be filled in for. I think that the people that we still have playing are the core of the team. So I've done a lot of talking, trying to explain myself. I think I've done an okay job at that. Let's fill in the lines with how we're thinking after that big trade and finish off this season. Okay, after that blockbuster, here are the lines. Lindblom, Couturier, Konechny, our first line. Second line, Tippett, Frost, and Farabee did very well in that small time that we saw them. Third line, I'm going to try Wade Allison with Paul Stastny and Phil Kessel. I'll tell you why. Stastny, a playmaker. If we put Bobby Brink, who has 3 goals and 20-plus assists, it's a -1. I don't think it really fits super well. I know Brink on the 4th line is a bit weird as well. But Wade Allison is a shoot-first kind of guy with 8 goals in only like 743 per night. Give him some more ice time and some playmaking, maybe he can do something. Worst comes to worst, we just swap him later on. But I'm going to try starting it like that. 4th line, Ratcliffe, Lawton, and Brink. Lawton also gets his special teams time, so it bumps it up a little bit. But long-term, next season, he's likely the 3rd-line center unless Matthew Savoie continues to grow. Even again, worst case, he could play wings, so not a big deal there either. Bobby Brink he's been 63 games in the top 6, top 9. Last 20 games on the 4th line. Maybe he goes back up. I don't think that's a big deal either. We could even swap with Phil Kessel if need be, but I don't think I want too much playmaking on the 2nd line. We got to have some shooting out there, and that's what Phil Kessel is here to do, while also allowing the top 6 to kind of just go and do what we see that they are able to do. This trade was not something that I said wasn't going to happen, but I didn't think it would happen so soon. Flyers ownership signed GM Data and Company to make trades like this. It was only because of how well Frost and Lindblom have done that we were able to make this kind of trade, because if not, we would have absolutely kept Atkinson and Hayes. The defense stays the same, special teams have been fixed up, goaltending still the same, of course. We now have a lot more salary cap to play with, which will allow us to be a player in free agency and now not kind of just say, okay, we'll re-sign our guys, maybe have room for one small thing. No, we now have 8.76, yes, but looking at the expiring, going into next season, we have $23.455 million to play with. No really big names to really take care of aside from our 3rd defensive pair. We're looking pretty good. Our goaltending is Carter Hart need? No, not even next season. So we could think about making some sort of splash in the middle 6th. Again, it depends how the rest of the season goes, the playoffs, the growth. But I think I like that trade. It feels a bit weird. It might even feels a bit too soon. But like I said, it's only because of how well the team has done that we're able to do it. So with Kevin Hayes gone, we now have an opening in the alternate captaincy. So 1A staying with Provorov, 1A staying with Couturier. I think the other A has to go to Oscar Lindblom. It's been such a good story with him. 2 years since beating cancer. He's leading the team up on that first line. Him and Couturier have been huge pieces for us. You could also argue for Scott Lawton, but I think this is just to end off the year. We'll figure out the captaincies again going into next season. But let's start the A's, the 3 A's to finish off the year like that. A lot has happened since we last played a game. We're going to simulate through the deadline now that is taken care of, as we are not going to be making any more moves. We'll see what other moves are made around the NHL. So let's see what moves were made. Oh, my goodness. Dumba, Zuccarello, and Kulikov going to the Rangers for Trouba and Robertson. Wow, big deal right there after we made ours with the Coyotes. Damon Severson and Andreas Janssen going to the Oilers, from the Devils to the Oilers for a second and a prospect. Brendan Gallagher to the LA Kings. Now that makes a lot of sense with Bergevin being in LA. I could see that happening in the real world with Dustin Brown having retired as well. Gallagher to the Kings. Love seeing some realism in the GM making a little bit of sense. Jonathan Drouin and JVR, who we had traded to the Canadiens, traded to the Capitals for a couple of pieces there. Hollander, a couple of prospects that were offered to us, traded to Seattle for Soucy, Donskoy, and a third. Poulain, a second, and a prospect to Dallas for Josh Manson and Xavier Ouellet. Some other prospects traded around. Ryan Graves to the Hurricanes. Brian Rust to the Blue Jackets. Keith Yandel to the Wild. Sorokin, Chara, and a sixth to the Wild for Hartman and Gagne. Some other picks and pieces being moved around. Lindell and Braun to Seattle for 2 seconds. That's odd. And Dzingel a third, and Philip the Bus Gustafson traded to the Islanders for a second and a fourth. So an active trade deadline here in the NHL. I'm excited to see how this team simulates after it's been such a strong season. I hope I didn't mess with too much, but I think that was the right move to strengthen us headed into the playoffs. The Islanders are 30, 28, and 4. Let's get it in the last 19 games of the season. First period here, 1-0. Sean Couturier opens it up on Semyon Varlamov. Second period now, no scoring shots, 23-17. Sam Gagner ties it back up, 1-1 now, shots 27-19. A few minutes into this third period, power play Philadelphia, killed off by the Islanders. Halfway into the period now, outshooting the Islanders by almost 10, almost a third, but Phil Kessel, in his first game as a Flyer, Phil the Thrill, puts us up 2-1. Will that be enough? Yes, it will be. Phil the Thrill Kessel. The hot dogs are on us at the Wells Fargo Center. Phil Kessel gets his first goal as a Flyer, and it is the game winner over the Islanders. Malcolm Subban's solid game, making 23 saves. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Was it a home? No, it was on the road. It was on the road. So fans are going to be going crazy when we come back home here against the Capitals. Let's continue to get some simulation done. Let's go see our rivals, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Phil Kessel's old team as well, as we get closer to the end of this season. Washington Capitals, we're at home taking them on. They're a very good record for them. 2-1 victory against the Caps. Big divisional win. Looking for win number 40 at home against the Red Wings. Don't get it there. Another injury in the AHL. Now looking forward against the Capitals. We beat them twice in just like 4 days in Washington. No, we cannot. More injuries in the AHL. That's 3 defensive injuries. How about against the Panthers in Florida? There it is. Win number 40 coming in Florida after we lost a couple in a row. And now taking on the Rangers at home. Another big divisional game there. Ooh, 5-1 loss. Now we'll take on the Penguins. We're 40, 23, and 6. The Rangers are just 3 points behind us after that win. The Penguins are 35, 29, and 4, and they are fighting for a wild card spot, so they'll be pushing hard. Phil the Thrill is here against his old team. We're at home, but the Penguins are here nonetheless. First period, 0-0. Second period, 1-0 Penguins as McGinn gets one past Carter Hart. Shots 25-19 for the Penguins after the first period. After the second period, Joel Farabee ties it up shorthanded. 5-on-3, 5-on-4 for the Penguins. We kill all of it off. Power play Philly killed off by the Penguins. Just those first 10 minutes of special teams. Owen Tippett puts us up 2-1. He's loving it in the top 6, but Teddy Bluger ties it up on the power play. 2-2 game with 5 minutes to go here in the third period. Final 2 minutes now. Is there a hero in the final minute? Ivan Provorov is the hero! 3-2 Flyers win it with 27 seconds left. Ivan Provorov wins it. Shots and 36-28 for the Penguins, but we hang on for the victory. Big performance from Carter Hart, making 34 saves. Provorov the game winner. Farabee a goal and assist. All 3 of our goals coming in the third period as we get a big 2 points against the Penguins and take it 3-2 the final. So we're now 4-3 since the trade deadline. Let's keep getting a larger sample size in there. Let's go see the Coyotes, actually. That'll be a good matchup for us in a couple of weeks' time. Big 4-2 win there against the Islanders. A 2-1 win against the Capitals. Nice divisional victories. 2-1 win against the Lightning. Very good. Tough 6-3 loss. Then a 5-0 loss against the Penguins. Yikes. Then a 4-2 loss. That's a 3-game losing streak after a 4-game winning streak. So since the trade deadline, we're 7-6. I know we couldn't keep up what we were doing forever with like whatever we had, the 20 wins in 28 games or whatever it was. We can't keep that up forever with like the 13-0-1 in 14 games. 7-6 since the trade deadline, not horrible, but I don't know. We got to check things out a little bit more in depth. Let's see this game against the Coyotes. Kessel and Stastny against their old team. Hayes and Atkinson against theirs. A lot of bad blood here, potentially. First period, 1-0 Flyers. Owen Tippett. Thank you very much. We got to win this game. Second period. Strawman, Atkinson, of course, Perron, and Krause. 3 goals past Carter Hart. 4 goals on 13 shots as Malcolm Subban comes in relief. Down 4-1. Shots 25-13. We're down 4-1. Make it 5-1. Shorthanded goal by Hayton. 5-2 Lawton scores on the power play. Big whoop. We're down by 3. I don't know. Hindsight's 2020. Should we have made that trade? I still stand by it, I think. I still stand by it in terms of getting value for what we could have gotten. That's a tough loss, though. 7-7 now since the deadline. Is it a morale thing? Morale's turned off. Like, it shouldn't be a big deal. Maybe the experiment's over with how we've had these players in their position, and now we take a deeper look at how they've been. Couture's slowed down big time as well. I don't know. What's been up with the scoring? Wade Allison, has he done anything? He had like 1 goal in all that time. I don't know. I guess just that it's not working, I guess. So let's try Lawton third line, Brink also third line, and we'll put Allison back to the fourth. And Stastny's our 4th line center plus special teams maybe. With Philadelphia, he has 4 points in 14 games, -2. And Phil Kessel with Philadelphia has 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists in 14 games. That's not bad. Yeah, defense, how the plus-minus has been +2, +1, -8 from Provorov. Yeah, they fell back off a cliff after they were doing so well. And goaltending, Carter Hart. It's more Malcolm Subban that's struggling now. Okay, let's try it like that. Maybe it was the bottom 6 that had to be swapped around. Maybe it was just a bad call to put Allison on the 3rd, Brink on the 4th. Let's get back to how we had it then. The 3rd line back to more or less normal with Phil Kessel as the sniper on that wing. Let's try that with just a few games left in the season. At the halfway point, we were on pace for 42. We're at 44 with 5 games left to go. Big divisional matchup against the Rangers with 42 wins. I don't think we've clinched the playoffs yet. Stastny is fully healthy. That's good. They are in the wildcard spot, just 6 points behind us. Same amount of games played. Let's do it here at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers with just a big game against the Hurricanes to end the season as well. First period, 2-0 Flyers. There we go. Allison back on the 4th and Owen Tippett. Very good, very good. Second period, 2-1. Zibanejad scores on Carter Hart. Do we have to fix up the defense? I don't know. They've been so up and down, that top 4 defense. Scott Lawton on the 3rd line. Let's go. 3-1 Flyers. Shots 30-20. 2-goal lead, make it a 3-goal lead as it's now 4-1. Rasmus Ristolainen on that first defensive pair. He's been big under GM data. Lindblom 5-1. Very good. Chris Kreider makes it 5-2, but that should be enough for the victory. 5-2 the final shots and 36-27. 3 stars in this one. We have Lindblom a goal and 2 assists. Carter Hart 25 saves. And Konechny 2 assists. This is what we need to see, boys. Brink pulled groin. Fantastic. Out till April 15th. I don't think that's for long, but never want to be seeing that. So let's put Ratcliffe up on the 3rd line, and we'll bring in Sutter to play on the 4th. All right, there we go. All taken care of. Classic glitch here. Let's come on. There we go. 5-2 wins. Now we take on Buffalo twice. Then the Blue Jackets will end off the year against the Hurricanes. Have we clinched the playoffs? Yes, we have. We have clinched the playoffs in year number 1 under GM data and the team of assistant GMs. 4-3 overtime win, but then a 4-1 loss, splitting those games against the Sabres. And then a 3-2 loss against Columbus. Come on. April 14th. I think Brink is back next game, so we won't risk it. But this is if we win this game and the Flyers go 0-1-1 in their last 2 games, we'll win the division. We want to finish as high as possible. I don't want to face the Hurricanes in round number 1, a team that's just as good, if not better than us, wins-wise. Big game coming up. We're 46-29-6, ending off the year against the 48-33-0 Carolina Hurricanes. Let's go for a strong victory headed into the playoff, boys. Keep the momentum rolling. First period. Big first period. Allison scores, then Kessel on the power play, Couturier, Martinook stops the bleeding, then Wade Allison, likely the first multi-goal period of his career, maybe the first multi-goal game of his career, 4-1 for the Flyers after 20. Second period, no scoring, shots 24-23 for Carolina, but we are up by 3 in the third. Wade Allison hat-trick, question mark? But the bottom 6 changes, seems like that's what we needed. The trades were fine, but the bottom 6 after the trades weren't that great. Little tweak there, and we're back to maybe not what we were doing when we were 13 wins in 15 games, but we're back to a solid team. No scoring in the third period. Shots end 40-33. Huge 39 save performance from Carter Hart. He's ready for the playoffs. 2 goals from Wade Allison, and we finish off the season with a record of 47-29-6. Unfortunately, it looks like we're probably going to be playing the Hurricanes in round number 1, but we've had their number. We beat them 4-1. Last time we played them, I think it was another, was it the first game of the season? A 3-2 overtime loss? No, it can't be. We must have played them again since then, but I'm not seeing them here unless I'm missing something. If you see it, let me know. Oh, here it is. 2-1 victory. Yeah, we beat them 2-1, so we are, what, 2-0-1 in the 3 games that we've played against them this season? That's not bad. Not a bad season record headed into the playoffs here. But we'll let the rest of the NHL finish off their seasons. Get to game 82 for everybody. Bobby Brink is fully healed. That's going to be a good sign for us headed into the postseason. Everyone play game number 82. And now let's check the standings. So in the entire NHL, we actually won the division. Hey, look at that. I thought the Capitals had passed us. No, we win the Metropolitan Division in year number 1 and finish 3rd in the NHL. 100 points, a record of 47-29-6. The goals scoring for and against evened out in the end. We allowed too many in the last half there. 2.704, 2.67 against. Our power play, dropped to 21.9. Second best in the NHL. So we have to see, maybe we should be touching that. It's still second best, but do we need to fix that up to get back to that 24-25%? Penalty kill ended at 81.6, so it dropped back down. The special teams did not finish off strong, I have to say. So is that something we take a look at changing? Cam Atkinson and Kevin Hayes, did they really have huge presences in the special teams? I think they both had power play time, but neither of them had penalty kill time. So third best in the NHL still there. Sean Couturier led the team in scoring, 62 points in 77 games, 35 goals from our first-line centerman. Great season from him. Is that a new career high in goals at 35? Previously had scored 33. Yeah, new career high in goals at 35. Lindblom, 57 points from him. This doesn't look like a division-winning team yet. Here we are. Konechny, 51 and 82. Farabee, 21 goals, 47 points, a negative 22. Do we need to change that third line, that top 6 up at all because of the plus-minuses? That's up to you. Provorov ends with 47 points, but back to a negative 12. So really just a boing, 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 boing from the negative 14 plus 1. Negative 12, 0. Like, come on. Phil Kessel with the Flyers ends up having, hold on, let's sort by the year, ends up scoring 11 points in 19 games. Not bad at all. Very, very good, actually. I like that a lot. Stastny ends with 43 points on the season, and with us, 7 points in 19 games, playing just about 12.5 minutes a night. So that's not bad either. Tippett, 42 points, 26 goals. I would like to see their stats since the trade. Tippett with 26 goals, though, was second highest in the team. Morgan Frost in his rookie season scores 33 points, but was a negative 23. Ryan Ellis, 31 points, negative 7. Bobby Brink in his rookie season, 30 points in 78 games. Good for him. Scott Lawton, 27 points. Ristolainen, 21 points and a plus 5. Eating 22 minutes a night on the top pair. Very well done. Sanheim, 20 points and a plus 6. Same thing, playing 21-19 a night. Ratcliffe, 19 points. York, 19 points. Allison, 18 points, 12 goals in his rookie season. Ronnie, 12 points from him. Rookie third pair of York and Ronnie Attard did pretty well. Mark Stone and Michael Stone, excuse me, and Brandon Sutter, the two scratches who didn't do too much for us. Goaltending, Carter Hart, got to give it to him. 38, 22, and 5 on the year. 2 shutouts, 9.15 save percentage, 2.58 goals against average. Not really Vezina numbers, but very good starting goaltender numbers, and that's what we need from him moving forward in this franchise. He signed for 1 more year after this one. Malcolm Subban, 9, 8, and 1 in the end. 907 save percentage, 2.73 against. Not too bad for a backup goalie, I have to say. In the entire NHL, if you're curious, Alex Ovechkin scored 57 goals on 118 points at the age of 37 to win the Art Ross and the Maurice Richard. Marchand, Crosby, Malkin, McDavid, all of those names up there. Goalies in the NHL, most wins in the league goes to Peter Marachik with 44. Jack Campbell over on the Oilers, maybe some foreshadowing in the real world, 40 wins from him. Samsonov and Hart tied for third most wins at 38. Now time to advance to the postseason. Is it true that we will take... Actually, no, it's not true. We won't be taking on the Hurricanes because we won the division. That means we're taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Interesting matchup. The Red Wings ended the season 43, 30, and 9. I'm not going to deep dive into their lines, but just a quick look at what kind of players are we going to be up against here against the Red Wings in round number 1. Hurdle, Larkin, Raymond, Bertuzzi, Giroux. Wow! Look at the storyline. Claude Giroux playing his former team in round number 1. He signed for just 1 more year at 5.93. Signed a 1-year deal with the Red Wings. Over the course of the season, what kind of year did he have with Detroit? 67 points in 82 games. Wow. Zdeno, Veleno, and Hinostroza on the 3rd. Ernie, Fabry, Rasmussen 4th. Ghost, wow, another former Flyer. Shane Gostisbehere playing first pair with Hronek, Leddy, Miller, Osterley, and Murphy. Goaltenders is Nedeljkovic, backed up by Kosa, and Kulak and Pius, Patrick Kane, Suter in the healthy scratches. So, very interesting matchup there. Excited to see that. Contracts, I don't think we'll have to touch anything else. Let me know your thoughts on that trade. I gotta hear your thoughts down here in the YouTube comments or over in the Discord server. Regardless of your thoughts, if you are excited for your Metropolitan Division winning Flyers in this upcoming postseason, be sure to leave a like. Cannot wait to get into the 2023 postseason. And be sure to leave your thoughts on the lines. With all these things in mind, with the special teams and the plus minuses on the different lines and everything, I don't know why it has a +1 now, this line. It didn't previously. Bobby Brink will come back in for Brandon Sutter. Should there be any other changes? Do you want to see any experiments, or do we just roll as we have been into the postseason? Regardless of how we do, I'm excited for the cap space we have as well. We have a lot of draft picks. I think we have like 3/3 and 5/4, so that'll definitely help us when trying to move around for different prospects we want to draft. It really hurts to have moved Atkinson and Hayes. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe everyone's rejoicing down in the comments. So I gotta hear back from all of you. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and why on that trade. Who do you think your performer of the season was, and who are you looking for a big performance from in the postseason? So thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Be sure to leave all those thoughts, as I said, down here in the YouTube comments or over on the Discord server, link in the description. Regardless of how we do in the postseason, I'm very happy that we won the Metropolitan Division in year number 1 without even having a crazy offensive player. You know, Sean Couture, 35 goals and whatever, 62 points. Great season, but we didn't have any crazy guys in the 70s or 80-plus points. I think that this team really came together and did it as a team, so I'm proud of that. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to do so because you do not want to miss out on these Philadelphia Flyer franchise mode uploads, as well as all the other series that we have going on the channel right now. NHL 7 Dynasty mode, live streams, data casts, and coming soon, get excited, MLB The Show 22 franchise mode. Once again, thank you very much for taking time to watch, and I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts and seeing you again in the next one.